Today we will review 6th grade math lesson 4.5. This lesson will cover applying all 4 operations with decimals. Here is your I can statement. I can determine which operation is needed and use all 4 operations to solve problems with multi-digit decimals and explain it to others. So let's review real quick just the basics here. There's 4 main operators in math. You can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So one thing we do in math is it's good to concentrate on the vocabulary as we're learning new lessons in math. So this is something I would like you to add to your vocabulary, because when we're doing word problems and we're deciding which operator to use, a really good strategy is to look for keywords. To determine the operation that you're going to use. So let's go over those keywords and phrases for the 4 main operators. So we have addition and subtraction. So for addition, some of the keywords and phrases you're going to look for is sum, total, all together, plus, and. For subtraction, a few of them are, there's always more than this, but these are some good ones. Difference for subtraction, fewer, less, how much more, and then if you sell something or if you spend your money, that would also be subtraction. Then we have multiply and divide. So multiply would be product, each, and of. And for divide, it would be quotient, per, ratio, and area. So those are just a few. So again, we're going to review when we add and subtract decimals here. This is adding and subtracting decimals. We want to remember we use decimal points to line up the numbers by place value. We fill in empty spaces with 0. We add and subtract, and we bring down the decimal point in your answer. When we are multiplying with decimals, we want to make sure we write the multiplication problem in standard form. Go ahead and multiply, and then place a decimal point in the product by counting the number of decimal digits in the factors. And then the last one is when we divide with decimals. We want to write the division problem in standard form, move the decimal point in the divisor and the dividend, and then go ahead and divide. And then they've given you examples below. If you want to go ahead and do some practice problems like this on your own, these are similar to homework on page 131. Also, this is a great time, and I encourage you to pause this video and complete the problems below first on your own, and then review the video. Let's look at the first problem. A group of friends go to the movies and they buy 3 sodas. So they buy 3 sodas at a cost of $129 each. So for this first problem here, it says identify relevant information. What do we know? We know that there's 3 sodas at $1.29 each. What do we need to know? How much they paid is how much we need to know. So if we're dealing with how much they need to be paid, we know we are going to be multiplying for this problem. So this is a multiplication problem, this first one. We are going to multiply. And one of the key words in this problem here is each. And that was again in my word bank here. Each. So we have 129 times 3. So when we're multiplying decimals times 3, 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, and 3 times 1 is 3. And then I go back in my problem and I say that's 1, 2. So I need to do the same thing for the answer. So that would be $3.87 for 3 sodas. Let's look at the next problem. Jorge is scheduled to work 36 hours this week. He has already worked 27 and 25/100ths of an hour. How many more hours does Jorge have to work this week? So we know we have this number and this number, but when I'm looking at it, I know this is going to be subtract because it says how many more. How many more, how much more here was in our word bank. So let's go ahead and do that problem together. So he has scheduled to work 36 hours this week. So 36 hours is the total amount for the week. He has already worked 27 and 1/4 of an hour. And then we're going to subtract it. So we need to borrow. So we get 5, 7, and 8, sorry. So how many more hours does Jorge have to work this week? He has to work 8.75, which is 75/100ths or 8 3/4 of an hour. He has to work more to get to that 36 total. Okay, question 2. Martin decides to order some comic books online. Each comic book costs $8.95. Martin orders comic books. How much does he spend? So again, how much? And how much does he spend? So Martin decides to order, this is going to be multiply. Each comic book costs $8.95 and he orders 12. So they're $8.95 each here. So they're $8.95 each comic book. So that's going to be multiplying. So I have $8.95 times 12. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. And 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1 is 17. And then 1 times those numbers. And then I get... Okay, so now we need to count how many decimal points. Put it in the answer. 1, 2, 1, 2. So the answer is $107.40. Make sure when you multiply, you're going to have and counting the decimals and bringing that down to the product in the final one. Okay, question 3. A 64-ounce bag of rice cost $7.68. So this is the total. And they're asking me here, how much does it cost per ounce? So I know for this last one, we're going to be dividing. So it's $7.68 divided by 64-ounce bag would get me my cost per ounce. So I'm going to divide. So I think I need to erase this so I have some more room here. Okay, so I have $7.68 is my dividend, and I have 64 as my divisor. Can 64 go into 7? No. Can 64 go into 76? Yes, one time. 1 times 64, or 64, subtract, and bring down. How many times does 64 go into 128? 2 times. So the answer is 12 cents per ounce. So that is our lesson for Module 4, Lesson 5, Grade 6.